So going into the skinny of things, going deeper, what situations are you attracting to yourself and why? Why are you attracting these situations to yourself? What is the pattern? What's in between? You have your good seasons, you have your very high anxiety seasons, you have your buildup. Know thyself, explore thyself. So it's only deep, wider and wider, expand that awareness. And so why are you attracting these things to yourself and the mental aspect of it? On the mental aspect, are they really that bad? Or what are they linked to? What's the common denominator? Why do you think you're giving yourself that in a spiral kind of way as a lesson each time harder and harder? Or, just what types of situations are they? Because you're feeding yourself. And studying the mental aspect, are they really that bad or are they not? Or what are the common things, etc.? How do they make you feel mentally? And then how do they manifest in the physical? And go from there. In the physical also, taking it to a chakra level. Let's say in the physical you stuttered. When you would get anxiety, they had already tested you, it wasn't anything to do, with any other defect or thing like that, whatever you want to call it. Being neutral, please. But it manifests in a stuttering, almost to getting out of breath and not being able to breathe, the stuttering. But it's anxiety. And okay, so it's social anxiety. But in those social situations, are you always anxious? No, I'm not. It's only when. Okay. Is it confrontation? Is it something like that? Does it come from being maybe injured as a very infant child? What is it? What is it? Know thyself. It's just how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go with your anxiety? But you know thyself. And so, but there are other anxiety type of situations that manifest themselves not in the mind, not in the body, but in the soul, kind of. Right? The ones that do normally have physical manifestations of nausea, of headache, of shallow breathing. And those are, is it in a particular place? No. It could be at an event. It could be at a cafe. It could be walking down a hallway and only one other person. It could be anything. It could be out in the wilderness. It could be wherever. This is energy related. We'll be walking down a street and I'll feel it. It'll be a nausea. It'll just be my senses. I smell stuff. Or it'll be I just feel super lightheaded, overwhelmed. And different types of anxiety. And some, I call these the soul ones. There are some very physical and some very mental. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know where to go. I couldn't even run. I couldn't speak. I couldn't breathe. All these things. And so then we go into acknowledge it, own it. Your life doesn't have to be anxiety ridden. And, what types of situations for my helpers, my givers, do you get yourself in anxiety situations and seasons of your life because you're offering too much of yourself? You are getting yourself into too many commitments. Or you are getting yourself into too many, I'm going to play relationships. And then you have to always decide amongst 3 ladies or 4 guys. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle it. Right? But see where the anxiety is such a healing tool to get you to a higher version of yourself, to get you to be empowered versus ever even feel like I'm not anxious. I'm not anxious. I'm fine. This is how I get excited, mother. Being more liberal, being more yourself, because it's about living. And this is something very key, I feel, that needs to be said about anxiety, that it isn't all, isn't all that bad. And you can own your anxiety. And you go into that example of the person that stuttered. Well, if he went in there and he went into that darkness, he will find that over and over again, maybe something that he has to work on is his throat chakra. Maybe his biggest strength will be public speaking, to defend a cause or to speak up against something. For someone whose lips would start shaking and who could never really get through an audition because of the anxiety of performing, to then be really their calling, their purpose is to speak to a multitude of people. And so there again, when were you getting your anxiety? Well, for public speaking, your calling. Pretty awesome, isn't it? So you could use anxiety for so many situations and just own it. And guess what? That's for the people that wish to use their anxiety as a healing tool. But you could also simply just go there, acknowledge what it is that you do perhaps to attract these things to yourself, to get you into anxious situations, and just own it and say, yeah, that's just me. But I like it. But that's just me. Or, just because it makes me really anxious and drink more when I go to the bar, I'm not going to stop because that's just me. I don't know. I love not drinking. I love it. But I also love watching how uncomfortable people feel that I don't drink. I'm like, wow, why is this so difficult? I'm having a blast. I love being here. Just present, without feeling anxiety and without feeling like I have to drink something in order to be here with you. I love it. But I had to go in there. I had to go deep down to get into some of the social things. I could handle a few people. And a lot of people, I better be allowed to dance and close my eyes, or if I'm in a festival, I never stop dancing, ever. That's how I heal with that. So we've gotten a little bit deeply into using anxiety for positive things in your life. And I'll close it with one last one. Since I went over on the other one, I wanted to make this one shorter. But it gives you some ideas on that positive vibe about it, where you can even just say, yes, this is what I do, but I can live with that. And that takes a whole other type of cojones, and that takes courage, but both do. But either way is fine. And you can explore it in your own time. But at least this way you are going into your own darkness and not other people's. And you're living yourself authentically.